All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's see. Are we live? We are live. We are live, son. What up? This is lugnuts.guapo coming at you from Maverick, Harley-Davidson, and today we are going to be talking about the 2019 Electra Glide Standard that Harley just released today, and more importantly, the Livewire. I know there's still a lot of hate going around. It's it's been advertised since 2014, and I guess there's still some haters out there, but let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. Let's see. See if we can post some stuff here real quick. Let's see. All right. So we're on Instagram. Bing, right there. And on YouTube. Ding, right there. And thank you for joining us. Absolutely. So where should we start? 2019 Electra Glide Standard. Well, people rejoice. Rejoice. It is here, the budget touring bike that honestly, that's what everybody wanted. It seems to me, the more I look at social media and the response and reactions to it, it's really what people wanted. They wanted Harley to get the perfect motorcycle that you can go touring and it's affordable, but you had to take into consideration that it's about the price of a Road King. So what are the plus and minuses to that? Yeah, well, let's start with the minuses. All right. So no stereo. Not a big deal. A lot of people are complaining about that. But honestly, if you look at the old Electra Glide standards, which, by the way, yes, there were made in the past with a twin cam. I personally own one. Why? Because they are cheap. Cheap, as cheap as they can get. If you buy one used, man, you will get a good deal because they don't hold their value as well. At least the old one, the one that I personally bought, doesn't. But guess what? I still get the platform that I wanted. I get the transmission that I wanted, and we kind of get the same here. It is a stripped down model. Now, a lot of people might say, I actually haven't seen anyone say this yet, but I'm pretty sure at some point it's gonna be very it's gonna be out there. So a lot of people will say, well, it's an FLHTP. What's an FLHTP? That is a Electra Glide police bike. Well, I personally think that they're very close. And I mean, understandably so. I mean, you look at the inner fairing. If you see the inner fairing of this new Electra Glide Standard, man, it is. I mean, it's identical. It is. It is pretty much the same thing. And why would you buy Electra Glide Standard versus a police unit? Well, here are some of the things you need to take into consideration. If you gain a police unit, you're essentially getting something that you're gonna get parts. Go to your Harley store and say, I need this wiring harness for my Electra Glide, and you don't specify that it's a police unit. The numbers for them are not the same. And when I say the numbers, I mean the stock number, the part number. Sorry. So the part number is not exactly what. I mean, even if they're similar, they're not, because the ECM and BCMs on both units are going to be completely different. I don't know if I'm making any sense here. I hope I am. But if you have any questions, drop your comment below. Again, here on YouTube. How everybody? What's up, everybody on Instagram? We're talking about the 2019 Electra Glide Standard and the Livewire here momentarily. But again, as I said earlier, everybody is very excited about the Electra Glide. And I need to change my microphone settings here. All right. So the Electra Glide Standard, again, a lot of good comments, a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people have been complaining, or not a lot, but the few that I've seen of the complaints that you've seen is the stereo doesn't have a stereo, and why would you even get that if you could get a police bike? At least that is my argument right now. So let's tackle it a little bit more. Well, as I was saying, there's a lot of parts that you won't be able to get, or if you can get them, they're very specific to a police model versus an Electra Glide model. And a lot of people don't know that. If you haven't already have a YouTube video up on Maverick's page, why or should you even consider buying a police unit? Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a very it's the same platform that you could get on any other bike, but there is some things to consider, such as like wiring harnesses, the fact that you can't put a Harley stereo on a FLHTP model, which is the police Electra Glide model, and on the Electra Glide standard, I'm assuming that you can. I don't see why they would even use the same wiring harnesses you get on a police bike, because they're getting different functions. Now, there's one thing that this new Electra Glide has that mine doesn't, which is minus an oh 06 for anyone that is just tuning in or doesn't really like follow me on Instagram. By the way, follow me on Instagram as lugnuts.guapo. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I got an I can't even talk right now. Electra Glide standard, and I bought it because it was cheap. Again, if you don't know anything about electric light standards, they made a ton of them, and they were very popular because it was a blank canvas and it was a cheap canvas. And if you know anything about Harley, you can customize anything on it. I mean, just about everything is customizable. And hey, I have my cousin from Mexico tuning in. What's up, man? Bow. And so it's a stripped down version, therefore it's a cheaper version. This is what we're getting from the new Harley Davidson. We're just getting a new electric line. So one thing that the new one has that mine never did is cruise control. I mean, you would expect that to be standard nowadays, right? I mean, seriously. I mean, the Heritage has it. Even the previous Softos had cruise control standard, and now you're seeing it, on the electric light standard. Which, if you go back to oh 06, which is what I have, it's just not there. And I mean, you can add it absolutely, but the throttle and fly by wire and all that kind of stuff I have to take into consideration if you're going to add that to something like what I have. But it comes standard on the new one, and it is awesome because you get entry level touring model with cruise control, with a fairing, you get all the gauges, and you can add a stereo. Now, again, I don't know that for a fact, but I can't imagine them doing the same thing that they did with the police unit, which is change the wiring harness, because again, there's certain amount of equipment that only belongs on those units, and they're made specifically to be connected to those bikes. If you don't know this already, there is a large amount of of equipment with a very large sum of money are put into these police units. So all that to say that they're very different. With this new electric light standard, I see in the reflectors in the saddlebags. I really wish that those were turn signals on the saddlebags, kind of what you get from either Custom Dynamics, or I think Custom Dynamics has the same lights, but who's the other brand? There's a lot of brands out there. Anyways, that is something that I was really excited when I kind of first saw it at a glance, and when Harley first released that, I was honestly very excited that that would be an option. But after looking at the image, I mean, Harley hasn't really said anything. I feel like that's something that they would pinpointed and said, this is something that comes on this bike because it doesn't come on any other bike. And that, again, that is turn signals on the saddlebags. And they look like reflectors. Why they put that there? I mean, it's kind of a head scratcher, don't you think? I don't know. Let me know if you're now joining. Comment if you're on Instagram. What's up? Go ahead and comment there below if you have any questions, comments, what you think about the new Electra Glide. And on YouTube as well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Go ahead and drop your comments below. So we've talked about, okay, is it a police unit? Obviously it isn't, but it's very similar. It comes with reflectors on the saddlebags, which I honestly don't know why that they feel they need to add that on there. And I wish those were turn signals as opposed to just reflectors, but I don't make those decisions around there. But so the price is essentially the same as a Rokin, right around 19 grand. What do you get that you don't get on a Rokin? Obviously, you're going to get the fairing, you're going to get the extra gauges, and a solo seat. Why a solo seat? Has anyone asked that question yet? Why a solo seat? That to me doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, what was Harley thinking when they said, "Oh well, we're gonna make it cheaper, so make it a solo touring bike." Yeah. I, what do you think? Hey, Karina, hola, what's up? Got more people joining in here on Instagram and on YouTube. Two more. All right, awesome. So going back to the electric light, I mean, what is your thoughts with the whole solo seat? Is it as the price related? I'm sure it is, but at the same time, I can't imagine having just a single two up seat. I mean, it's not like they have to redesign the whole bike to fit that, but it comes with a solo seat. Now, is it was it a good move from Harley Davidson to bring a basically? I mean, it's an existing platform, which is the Milwaukee 8, Street Glide kind of a thing, but now we have something that is more affordable, and you get everything everything from the fair, except it's stripped down, and a lot of people actually still enjoy that. We actually had a customer recently that bought a brand new FLHTP, a civilianized FLHTP, and the reason why was I already lost my train of thought, but because I just had my buddy, Mr. Trip Baker, join the conversation. I'm sure he can drop some comments and pretty much correct anything that I'm saying wrong. What's up, Trip? So if you don't know Trip, go ahead and check out some of the other videos here at Maverick's channel on YouTube, and you'll know that he has tons and tons and tons of experience. So to bring everybody up to see, because I have more people joining here on Instagram, we're talking about the Electra Glide standard and if it's a yay or nay situation. So far, I think it's an awesome. It's awesome. Why would you think otherwise? I mean, it's a cheaper. It's a cheap touring bike, and I say that it's basically as a joke goes around here. It's a road king with a fairing, and I'm gonna throw Jefferson under the bus on that one. It is. I mean, it's basically kind of like a police unit, as I said earlier, and it's what's another way of putting this? I mean, it is everything that you need minus all the extra stuff that you don't need. If that makes any sense. Good, but not a new idea is what Trip is saying. Yeah, I agree. It is. It's absolutely good, and that's more for the customer that wants a brand new entry level touring model and doesn't necessarily just want a windshield, but wants all the extra stuff, at least the space to put a stereo or anything like that. Now, the one thing that I kind of wished I would have done this, but I haven't done it in a while, and Trip can probably correct me on this, but the whole blonde motor. I kind of like it. I kind of like the blonde motor on the old electrical eye. That's what I have, and I mean the Dyna that I had before that had a blonde motor, but the new motor is basically a chrome, kind of what you would see on a Street Glide standard. And I mean it looks good. I mean it doesn't look bad, but I kind of wish I feel like that would made it just a little bit different, from everything else. But I mean, what do y'all think? I think it should have had a blonde motor. That's just again personal opinion. That's my desire in my heart. And actually, recently, now that I think about it, we did a video here at I believe it was here at Maverick or at Longhorn. I think it was at Longhorn, talking about comparing a Sport Glide and a Road King, because they both have bags, yada yada. And someone had made the comment of like, man, I wish there was a touring model that had like a little detachable fairing. That would be pretty cool. It would kind of like bridge the two. I was like, "Oh, well, that's an interesting point." Again, I'm pretty sure Trip has heard that one before, and I'm waiting for him to comment. I don't know if he's still listening or boredom. He gets to see me all the time. So, anyways, what do y'all think? I mean, that'd be a neat idea. I'm pretty sure it's been done before, but overall, I think this is this is pretty great. Let's see. Trib responded, "There are no models of the M8 with a blonde motor, so it would cost more to make it that way." Well, there you have it. There's the answer to my question. So yeah, that's a good reason why they don't do it. I do wish they would have gone that route. I think it would have been great, but that's the reason why. But again, I'm personally very excited that Harley has gone this route. It seems like they've been constantly pushing all these new models to move into the future, to appeal to the new riding generation, and the people that are still buying bikes that are kind of, I wouldn't say old school, but maybe already buying the touring models. hey, I mean, I feel like that's what a lot of those people have been wanting is kind of like the newer version of the electrolyte standard. And I might be wrong. That's just kind of how I see it. To me, the reason I bought mine again is because it was affordable. It's a blank canvas. You can do whatever the heck you want to it. You don't have to, a lot of people will buy a brand new street glide, and the first thing they do is take the stereo out, which seems kind of like a waste of money because the new stereo is actually pretty awesome. But I mean, they want a completely different stereo, and I, so why not have one that already is a blank slate and you can change things to it? Let's see. Trip is saying they were original. Blonde motor was in a lot of platforms to lower the cost of them. So there you go. So let's see. Someone's calling me and I'm not responding. There we go. Are we still live? Yes, we are. All right. So obviously, as Triv was mentioning earlier with the whole blonde motor situation, I mean there were multiple platforms when they came out, and it was really there to reduce cost. So let's see. Oh, Parker, I'm sure he is working real hard right now since he just joined me live. And he's in his office, probably like across the showroom floor. What's up, Parker? Oh, jeez. Let's see. The Trip says that blonde motor was on the FXST, the FXD, which is, I think it's the Dyna Super Glide, and the FLHT, which is the electrolyte standard. I think the FXST is the Softail Custom, if I'm not mistaken. So again, I still wish that they would have gone with a blonde motor. I think that would have been so cool to see the M8 in a blonde form. But hey, so is life. I don't get to make those choices. But again, they've already been making that platform in chrome and black, so it makes sense that they choose one of the two. And it seems like chrome is the way that they went. Oh yeah, Softail standard. There you go. So correct. Did I say Softail standard? I don't know. I said custom, didn't I? Yeah, FXSTC is the custom. Yes. So I'm so glad Trip is on here to correct me because I will eventually mislead you. Anyways, so yeah, again, if you just joined me, and there's a couple of people that just joined. Thank you for joining in to the which kind of I guess this is part of the podcast. It's been difficult to get. It's been busy around here, so we haven't been able to do our typical MLHD podcast. So here I am running my mouth about the new Electra Glide, and hopefully we'll get here into the Livewire soon. So again, we've established that the Electra a lot of praise from a lot of people on social media and on all these other platforms. I agree. It's a great move forward. It's something that it's not something that they're necessarily, in my opinion, getting out there for the new generation. I feel like they already established that with the new Softail line and the upcoming Livewire. And to reach out to other riders that wouldn't necessarily consider Harley-Davidson, but I feel like this new Electra Glide standard is definitely a move in the right direction for the people that were already into Harley-Davidson and they want an entry-level touring bike, but that they want the fairing, but they don't necessarily want the windshield. They might want to have add something to that blank canvas as the Electra Glide. I'm excited, and I actually love that new red logo on the tank. I think that it's clean, it's simple, it's kind of what the Electra Glide was supposed to be in the first place. I feel like, but again, I might be wrong, but that's how I feel about what is that something that you would consider purchasing at I think the price tag is right around 19 grand. Let's see, let's look it up real quick. 18,999. Yeah, 19 grand essentially. So 19 grand. What do y'all think? Is it worth the money? Is it something that you think, it's a kind of a waste of money? Would you rather buy a Road King? I don't know. I mean, let's put this into consideration. Compare this. Let's compare this to two other models. Okay, so you had the Electra Glide standard right at 19 grand. The other two bikes are right around that price range that have saddlebags and at least a windshield. There's the Road King and the Heritage. And that's the Heritage standard with the 107, and of course the Road King standard with the 107 as well. So 3 platforms all around 19 grand. And which one gives you the most? I would immediately rule out the Heritage. I mean, the Heritage is an awesome motorcycle. It really is. But it doesn't have the touring frame. And if you're going to travel long distances, you probably want that touring frame. You want those trailing forks. So I would immediately take out the Heritage. And now we have the Road King and the new Electra Glide. Again, so excited that that's happening. It's finally happening. So I was really curious if it was going to happen at all, but it's finally here. So now we have the Road King standard and the Electroglide standard. So one, they both are going to give you the platform of a touring frame. What am I even saying? I'm putting words out of order, but they're both on a touring platform, trailing forks. If you're not, let's see. Ah, okay. So Trip just sent me a little message. Again, if you don't know who Trip is, check us out on Shop Talk on our YouTube channel here, Maverick Harley-Davidson. And we just built a couple. Well, I mean they. Uh, okay, I'll respond to you here in a second, REFXLR. But so we got some police units that have been that we've been building here. We built a lot of police units here at Maverick and at Longhorn, and we just put some Rockford Fosgate speakers with the perspective amp and a Bluetooth module, and those things are loud, and they're probably, I don't know how much they cost, but I mean, again, blank canvas. You can do whatever you want with it. I think that's a really good option, and we definitely need to keep those kits in stock because it is ridiculously loud. Check that out. I'm pretty sure that we have a video on that momentarily on our Shop Talk series. So anyways, going back to Airy FXLR, I think I'm saying it right, or maybe wrong, I don't know. But you said I wouldn't they would need to make it a 2-up. I agree, we were talking about that earlier. It comes with a solo seat. I'm not really sure what the idea behind that was. I feel like when you think of a touring bike, you most of the time think about taking another person because it is again, it's a touring frame. It's probably it's just better overall if you just have a 2-up seat on a touring platform. To me, that just makes sense. A lot of people can ride solo, so I don't know who am I to say, right? But it comes with a solo seat. It almost kind of looks like have you ever seen the new seats on the CVOs? They're kind of like 2-piece. It seems like they took that same design and then just took the little passenger pillion out. That's what it looks like to me. I mean, it might be a completely different design. I have seen that seat for sale here at the dealership before. So, I mean, that design has been out. So, but then again, this is not about bringing something new. It's bringing something that's economical, something that just regular average Joes, people that are not going to spend the money on a special road glide, or a street glide special, or even, I mean, obviously a CVO. I mean, it makes sense that you would buy something like the Electra glide. Again, we're going back to comparing the road and the reflectors that put on the saddlebags, which again, I just kind of looks kind of odd to me. I mean, am I the only one? I think it would have been cool if those instead of that, it would have been turn signals. I think it would have been fantastic. But that's just my opinion. But the other thing that you get is obviously a fairing versus a windshield. Now, the cool thing about a Road King is you can actually that windshield is automatically detachable, and the fairing isn't. But if you're buying an electrical, you already kind of know that. So let's see. Trip is saying a set of rear foot pegs are way cheaper than the ones that you're getting on a street glide. Let's see. I don't know if I read that right. A seat and a rear foot peg. Oh, I didn't even consider that since that's a good point. So let's see. We're gonna look real quick on the Harley's website, and it shows. Wow, there is no passenger pegs because obviously it's a solo bike. I just noticed that. That's kind of like a duh moment there for me. But so it's a solo seat, obviously for one passenger, and you're not getting passenger pegs. So you have to, yeah, you have to buy that as well. So you're looking at pegs and a passenger pillion. This kind of reminds me of the Iron 83. A lot of people buy that not knowing that, okay, I'll just buy the passenger pillion and then we'll be good. And it's like, oh wait, no, you have to buy the passenger pegs. So that's something that you need to take into consideration. That's something that a Road King standard does have that you don't get on the new Electra glide. So they're about the same price. Obviously, there's some takeaways from each other, but I personally would rather have that fairing because there's a lot of modification that can happen in there. I mean, again, with the Road King, you can probably add sound system. In my opinion, it looks kind of odd when you add the little pods, but just as Trip was saying, I mean, it is still cheaper than buying a street glide. So much cheaper. You're looking at what I think it's like $3,000, right? Somewhere around there. And I'm so excited. I mean, a lot of people that follow Harley, that are Harley enthusiasts, are the ones that are really like excited that this is happening, that this is the decision that Harley Davidson has made. And honestly, it doesn't seem like it would be hard to achieve that because the platform already exists. You're not creating anything new. But again, excited, so excited this has finally happened. It's great. I'm so excited. It's kind of ridiculous that I'm excited as I am because I mean it's nothing really new, but it's good in the sense that there's something affordable for everybody else that wants to get into a touring model and doesn't necessarily want a road king, but wants something with a fairing. So man, I don't know what else to say about it, so I'm gonna move real quick to the live wire. We've been live for about 25 minutes, so let's get the ball rolling, shall we? So, you got any questions about the live wire now that I have Trip? Yeah, oh well, I'll respond here real quick to REFXLR. So, or buy a used Electra Glide Ultra. Well, I guess it depends on what year you're getting, whatnot. But yeah, that's actually a really good point. I mean, a lot of people do that. They'll buy an Electra Glide Ultra and then just make the tour pack detachable. And I mean that's a pretty good way to go as well. It just I mean like, I'm not really sure what the price difference is on that. I'm pretty sure it's actually a little higher than if you I mean there's a lot of good things that comes when you buy a brand new motorcycle, including the warranty. And Harley's actually is just historically been really good about that. So there's a lot of things to consider here. My bike is an '06, so obviously I'm way past that extended service plan qualification. So usually it's about, for those who don't know, it's about 10 years. So 2008 and newer, I think, is currently that window where you can still get a warranty and still get taken care of by the company. So I'm gonna go ahead and move to the live wire. So a lot of people still hating on this bike. I personally think it's absolutely fantastic. I was talking to a Trip not long ago about the company that they acquired before they launched. They were getting ready to launch, and so I think Alta Motors is the company that is buying that Harley bought out. And you look at their bikes that they were building at the time, and man, those things are rad. I mean, just cool looking electric dirt bikes. And honestly, that's probably the one that I'm actually more excited than the Livewire is the little bicycle, mountain bike, dirt bike looking thing that that Harley is promoting, anyways. But the Livewire, so a lot of people are still upset. Obviously, not for your typical Harley rider. And if you're still not on board, I mean, I don't blame you. It is definitely, it's not, again, it was one thing to change Dynas and the old Softo front. That was a kind of a a big change, I would agree. But I feel like going electric is definitely a bigger change. It's definitely something. I mean, we're talking about not even the same motor. I mean, we're going from different from electric, from combustion to electric. So, I mean, what do y'all think about the? Let's see. Thomas responded here on YouTube. Tom is another tech here that works at Maverick Harley-Davidson. He's like, you are so excited and you just can't hide it. That's true. That's true. Let's see. Chili C22 says, let's see. Harley only bought a non-controlling interest in Alta. Well, I mean, I guess I was off on that, but regardless, I mean, they definitely they invested for a reason. Let's see, not a change, but a different market. I agree with Trip on that. I will always agree with Trip most of the time. I'm always have my opinions that are not very popular, but but yeah, it's not. I mean, it's a again, it was not necessarily a change. Like they're going all electric. I'm not sure that that's gonna happen. I mean, I might be dead before any of that happens. But again, this is for a different market. Harley's not, and as far as we know, and I don't think they'll go that direction. But they're not gonna make every single platform electric. At least I think if that were to happen, it would be in a very, very, very distant future. But again, this bike is not for your typical Harley rider. To those who complain about the range, for example, this bike ain't meant for you. I'm sorry to tell you this, but Harley wasn't thinking about you when they made the Livewire. They made it for those who wouldn't look at Harley any other way. And if you actually go and look at other people that are like into Teslas and to all electric, man, they're really talking this bike up. Now, there's other electric bikes like the Zero, and I think there's this bike called the Striker, and And let's see, let me respond this real quick. Trip says they're not trying to replace existing customers, but to gain new ones, which is exactly the point that we're trying to make here. It's they didn't make this for the existing Harley market. They made it to those who wouldn't consider Harley otherwise. But again, if you look at vloggers that are talking about all electric stuff, everything from Teslas to solar panels and whatnot, they're very, very excited about this motorcycle. Now, a lot of people were very upset about the price tag. I sincerely wasn't surprised. I mean, it is a tad bit higher than I was thinking about, but it's definitely not that far from where I was thinking. And I'm pretty sure there's several people that work at dealerships that kind of felt the same way. I mean, it wasn't super surprising. A lot of people try to compare it to the Zero, which they're not even on the same plane. I'm like, it just isn't. Oh my gosh, a cousin from Mexico saying Honda and heart emoji. You're in the wrong live live feed, my friend. But anyways, we again forever two wheels, whatever, right? Chili C22 says Air Electric is cool, different audience, and Harley Davidson score for sure. I see it as a leap forward. I dig it, but I will not be buying one. Hey, and I won't be buying one either. But I think the reason I'm not buying one is because I can't afford it at the moment. But again, I'm really excited about the dirt bike version or the mountain bike. I'm still not sure. It kind of looks like a mountain bike, but anyways, again, they weren't when they made this bike, they weren't thinking about your typical Harley rider. The range is obviously, I mean, look at the size of the bike. I mean, you buy a Tesla, you get about 300 plus miles, and you get something that's a third of the size and it gets a third of the range. I mean, I mean, why is everybody so upset? And this, you have to take in consideration that this is highway and city combined. Unlike your combustion, gas combustion motors. I mean, on highway you probably get better gas mileage. On an electric bike, you get better mileage if you're in the city. That's just how it is. And if you actually look at Zero's website, and they tell you, I mean, combined. It doesn't say combined. It gets this many. And this many miles, but they're all city miles. They're not taking into consideration highway miles. And on top of that, there's a battery pack that comes with this that you can get as an addition, and nobody buys it. There's like hardly any dealers will get that option ready because customers don't want it. You want to know why? Is because you can't do a fast charge on those things if you have that additional battery. With Harley Davidson, with the stage 3 charging, I mean, I think it's 35, 45 minutes to charge. And I mean, not for someone that's going to go and try to, cross country. It's not even designed that way. I mean, the ergonomics of it's basically a sport bike. I mean, just a strip is reminding me here. It's like 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. There's a reason why baggers are not designed that way. This is a performance bike. And again, speaking of performance, man, you get the new I think it's Striker is what it's called, and it's breaking all kinds of records, and people are saying, well, that's half the price and this and that. You have to understand another thing about the Striker versus the Livewire. The Striker is kind of like your sport. I mean, it really is the easiest way to compare it. It's like, I mean, it's essentially a sport bike, and you get sport bike pricing, and then you get Harley Davidson and Harley Davidson pricing. But like, if you compare the two, I mean, obviously they both have performance oriented stuff on it, and you look at everything else, all the rest of the components, and the Livewire. And I'm not trying to be biased here, because at first I was kind of, I didn't really know what to think, but after looking into it, I mean, the components you get on a Livewire are like, there are just a lot more components to it. There just is. And you're also not just paying for the brand. You're also paying for the intricate dealer network that Harley Davidson has. You're also paying for parts availability. You're paying to have anything were to happen, which, by the way, it's very low maintenance on anything electric. The same with Tesla. It's the same with Fisker. It's the same with Zero. And it's going to be the same with the Livewire. I mean, at least I hope so. I can't imagine it being any different, because, I mean, it's electric, so there's a lot of things that you don't have to worry about, such as certain fluids and whatnot. Let's see. Let's Chili C22 said, "LOL, I can't afford it either, but I'm spending 30,000. I'm buying a Street Glide Special." I don't blame you. Again, I mean, you put your money where your priorities are, right? So Let's see what I say. Let's see. I want to test ride one when is the demo truck coming. Actually, as far as I know, Harley is not necessarily having a demo available. So yeah, it's kind of odd. I know that we have something here in Maverick in the works to make that a possibility, but I mean, no promises. That's a wild theory, I guess. Or not theory. That would be the right word. Let's just call it gossip. Might be true. I don't know. Let's see. REFXLR says John Maxwell said that the Livewire is full of new technology that will eventually trickle down to other motorcycles. And let's see. And Trip says they are quite low vibration, no heat, cool to ride in the summer. Again, I agree with that as well. Again, Trip, if he's going to be the first one they're going to certify for to work on Livewire. He actually has quite a bit of experience with other electronic motors, anywhere from RC cars to a whole bunch of other stuff, which you can ask him if you ever see him. But going back to Area FXLR with what John Maxwell said, with that technology trickling down to other motorcycles, it's already happening. And this best example for that is going to be the new battery. Have you all checked out that new battery? I mean, it's extremely light. The durability is, I mean, it's ridiculous compared to the old battery. It just the old batteries in general. It is pretty incredible, and that a lot of that technology again came from the Livewire. So let's see, Chili C22. Everything I read says that the Zero is the biggest threat to the Livewire. Has anyone done a true head-to-head comparison? Good question on that. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you that obviously, especially on YouTube, if you're on YouTube all the time, you know who Matt Laidlaw is. Go check his channel. He actually test rides both. I mean, he's been in the industry way longer than I have, and he makes really good points on how. I mean, they're again, as I said earlier in this podcast, they don't even begin to compare. I mean, they're not on the same playing field. They're not even remotely close. But yeah, Chili C22. Go ahead on to Matt Laidlaw's YouTube page, and he does a very thorough comparison. I think he actually did a really good job on that. If you can get over his monotonous voice and actually make it through the end of the video, I think you'll find that he makes some really, really good points. Trip is reminding me what the name. It's a lithium battery, and HT Connect is the other thing that you get on the Livewire that you don't get either on the Striker or the Zero. So what is HT Connect? I mean, you're basically have everything that's related to your motorcycle on an app on your phone. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, there's not a lot of motorcycles that I know of. The closest thing that I can think of, especially on the new baggers, your phone is connected, you can get CarPlay, but and I can't wait. I'm really hoping that. I mean, I feel like that's something that you're gonna see on like the new CVOs and maybe on the new let's see, on the new baggers. Connectivity. This is my Spanish language is kind of kicking in. I can't even pronounce things right nowadays. But yeah, cellular connectivity. You're gonna get that as well as standard. I mean that list just piles up so quick. I mean the amount of technology that you're getting. That's why that's what you're gonna end up paying when you pay close to 30 grand for the new Livewire. Now torque. I mean, torque for days, instant torque. I mean, the Milwaukee 8 is impressive, believe me, but you can't compare that to an all-electric motor. I mean, I mean, you see it in Tesla. They are about to come up with a roadster that's like 0 to 60 in like 1.9 seconds, something ridiculous like that. But the new Livewire, I mean, is again 0 to 60 and 3.5, I believe, is what Trip was telling me. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. It's astounding, really. And one of the things that we hear a lot is, well, they say it's a beginner bike. There's no way that that's a beginner bike, especially if we're going from 0 to 60. Are you kidding me? 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. That's not a beginner's bike. That's like buying a high boost and saying it's a beginner's bike. Well, you'd be wrong because I mean, you have to think it's all electronic, meaning that you can actually program this bike. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know how much information we have on this, but I'm pretty sure you'll be able to dial it down, or you can have sport mode, economic mode, or training wheels mode, or whatever you want to call it. But this is for someone that's never ridden. You have to understand that if you know how to ride a bicycle, you might be able to figure this one out because it's just a throttle and go, right? It's like driving an automatic versus a stick car. If you've never driven ever in your life, it's going to be easier to drive an automatic vehicle. That's just the way it is. You can't. I mean, that is why it's a beginner bike, not because of you know I don't even know where I was going with that, but that's why it is considered a beginner's bike, because not only do you get the chance to like dial it down and program it to where you won't kill yourself, but also there's no clutch involved. So there's little things that you're taking here and there out to make it easier for new riders to get into riding. There's a lot of people that won't ride because they're so scared at the idea of all the extra things that they have to do while riding, and a lot of people won't even take the step into maybe even taking a riding course. But this is a game changer. This is something that people that never ridden, and I mean Harley is one of the biggest. I mean it's the biggest motorcycling brand out there, and having a brand that big be having a brand that big, having a motorcycle like that that helps people introduce themselves into the motorcycling world, that's just amazing. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So Trip, this is a really good point. This is for a person that wants a CVO but may not have to be able to work a clutch. I mean, it's like a CVO sport bike essentially. So man, that's. I mean, do y'all have any questions whatsoever? And if you, I mean, I feel like we've hit most of the points at this point. Again, if you're a Harley rider and you're hating on it, guess what? You can hate all you want. They didn't make this bike for you. They're not trying to please you. They feel like they already pleased you with everything else that they have on their lineup. And I mean, there's still those people that are upset that they did away with the Dyna, but the new platform just outperforms the Dyna and the old soft. Of frame is more rigid and yada yada yada. But that's not why we're doing this bit today. But man, if you didn't know, I'm gonna go let you know what we got going on here at Maverick real quick. Let's see. I believe we have caffeine and gasoline this weekend, and yeah, you don't want to miss that. It starts at 9 a.m. and it goes all the way to 1 p.m. and then other stuff happen right after that. So it's always a good time. There's always a lot of cool cars, a lot of bikes come and show off, and yeah, it's always a good time. So come swing by this Saturday at Maverick Harley-Davidson, and as well as promotions. Real quick, I'll let you know what we got going on. If you buy cha-ching, where did that go? New tires, free install with a tire purchase. That's our service promotion. And there's a boom audio upgrade that goes all the way to the 31st of this month of March, 15% off of installation and parts and labor. And this is not valid on prior purchases. So again, expires at the end of this month. But let's see. Chili C22 says, let's see, not hating here. I'm all about HD years, technology and growth. Hey, that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Again, the Livewire. I mean, it's about reaching a new base, and if you don't create something that is moving you forward, then you're staying stagnant or moving backwards. And this company has not survived 116 years just doing the same thing over and over again. Some may say that, well, they've done the same air cooled stuff over and over and over again. But yeah, but if you compare every single motor that they've done over the years with the quote unquote same technology, they're not the same. You can't tell me that a knucklehead is exactly the same as a twin cam. It just isn't. Granted, there's a lot of similarities, and yeah, I mean they're all air cooled and yada yada, but it's everything changes. If you look at BMW's motorcycles, they've been using the same motor design for years, decades. Now Harley's coming out with the Livewire, and all of a sudden people are like upset about it. Come on. So I mean that's that's just the way it is. So if you haven't already, go ahead and text Maverick at 76626 if you want to subscribe to our Text Pro and let you know what we got going on here at Maverick Harley-Davidson on a weekly basis. Go ahead again. That's Maverick. That's Maverick to 76626. Go ahead and do that right now on your phone. And again, thanks everybody to go ahead and joining me here live, either on YouTube, which there you are. Thank you so much. Thank you for that thumbs up. And again, Instagram, thank you so much to everybody that's joining in today. And this podcast hopefully will be available here shortly on our MLHC podcast. I think this is going to launch hopefully on Thursday. If you want to hear the whole thing, if you join in too late, go ahead and subscribe to our podcast, which is on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/ML-HD. Or if you're on have an iPhone, go ahead and to a podcast app and just type in MLHD, and then you'll find it, MLHD. Thanks again for joining. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. I know it's a Monday, but my Monday's been going great. And I hope yours has too. Hey, get some wind therapy. So that's what Chili C22 said. I appreciate that. And so thank you so much. By the way, who do you want to see next on this podcast? It's been hard to get anyone on here lately. It's just been really busy. Technicians have been building police bikes like crazy. And, our sales staff it's a tough month. February, January, February, March, spring is starting to roll in. So things will speed up, and hopefully I get some fresh people in here. If not, if you heard someone that you want to see in here, again, let me know on Instagram. That again, lugnuts.guapo. And let's see, MLHD owner. I'm not really sure what that's supposed to mean. I just got that comment from Area FXLR. MLHD owner. Oh, okay, gotcha. You want to see the owner of Maverick Harley-Davidson, his long Harley-Davidson. His name is Chris Calhoun. Really, really nice guy, real cool guy. And yeah, I'll try to see if I can get him in there. He's usually pretty busy, but I'll definitely try my best. The dealer principal, Maverick HD. All right. Well, I'll definitely try to make a point to get the owner in here for this podcast. No promises, but I will definitely try my best. Again, man, thank you again for joining in. It's been awesome. 46 minutes in. I honestly didn't think I was going to make it 46 minutes. Seriously. And thank you, Trip and Tom, for chiming in, because usually my head goes all over the place and they keep me on track on this topic. So thank you so much for joining us. And in the meantime, get on your Harley and get some wind therapy. Later.